That's gone.
Okay, it has almost been 4 months in a row now where protesters and federal agents have been clashing every single night at this Portland federal building. It is getting very dangerous in the area.
Oh, they're bagging up the flag. They just bagged up. Earlier, somebody burned an American flag.
Recently, protesters decided to burn an American flag just outside of the Portland Federal Building. Now, this is not news that something was lit on fire. This happens all the time at this building. But this burning of the American flag might backfire on all of these protesters very soon, because the new executive order from Donald Trump says if you incite violence by burning an American flag, you can receive up to 1 year in prison for that. So we're going to talk about all of this. Now, before we start the video, make sure you guys please like this video. It's the #1 way you guys are helping this channel, but it also helps others see the videos as well. And this story is so underreported. People need to see what's going on in Portland right now.
So it appears that things have more or less calmed down for the night, and we're getting ready to settle in for the overnight. And they came out a little while ago, and they screamed out of the fucking driveway. They ran out in the street, and they actually arrested 2 people, and I believe they arrested the 2 people who burned the flag. Yes, there was a fabulous flag burning here earlier today. Boy, that thing really went up, didn't it? And these 2 people got arrested. So they got brought in, and it is
Before we get to this flag burning, just so you know, all of the journalists who help my channel out, who go to this federal building every single day to report on the story, they don't go anymore. They have all been assaulted, they've all been attacked by these protesters, their lives are in danger, which means we have to do a lot of digging and a lot of investigative work to figure out what's going on here, but don't worry, I got you guys covered.
They've just come screaming out. I have no fucking idea what they think they're getting. Oh, they're bagging up the flag. They just bagged up. Earlier, somebody burned an American flag, and they are now bagging up the remnants of that flag. You can see the bag right there. They are bagging up the remnants of the flag, and they are bringing it back as evidence.
Okay, so there might be some pretty bad news for these protesters in Portland. Here's the thing, it's not illegal to burn an American flag. However, with this new executive order that Donald Trump signed, the intention behind the burning of the American flag, that could be the big problem. You'll see what I mean here in a second.
Sure. So what the executive order does, sir, it charges your Department of Justice with investigating instances of flag burning, and then where there's evidence of criminal activity where prosecution wouldn't fall afoul of the First Amendment, and instructs the Department of Justice to prosecute those who are engaged in these instances of flag burning.
And what the penalty is going to be, if you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail. No early exits, no nothing. You get 1 year in jail. If you burn a flag, you get, and what it does is incite to riot. I hope they use that language, by the way. Did they?
Okay, incitement is
incite to riot.
Okay, so I hope you can see why this is a very big deal and why this is super applicable to this situation in Portland. It is not illegal to burn an American flag. That is protected with your First Amendment right. However, with this new executive order, if you are going to burn an American flag with the intention of wanting to start a riot or wanting to assault or attack federal agents, this is where it can become an offense where you will go to jail for a year. And let me show you guys the rest of this clip, and you can really see in real time how it can be applicable to Portland.
Fuck you, Sky Nazi, piece of why you keep that water bottle, you mad as
It's funny, they think they can use the flash or they can get them.
why not being able to catch somebody, you bitch? You look real stupid now. You look so big.
So this is a very crucial detail. In the video, the federal agents had to leave the building in order to go pick up the flag. As they were backing up, they were getting verbally assaulted. They were getting closed in on. You need to understand, if you are a new viewer here, this usually leads to some pretty big clashes. Go and watch my other videos, you're going to be shocked. It looks like a war zone. So in this case, that was considered peaceful. But the point I'm trying to make is, if there was a physical altercation, now the federal agents have the jurisdiction to arrest you. If they can prove that you lit the American flag and that incited violence, all of these people are going to jail for a year, which is why this executive order is massive for these federal agents. They now have another tool to not suppress the freedom of speech, but to suppress the intentions with this protest, which has led to the leaking of the family members of these federal agents. Rocks have been thrown at these federal agents. Their lives are in danger every single night. Hey, real quick, if you haven't already, make sure to please subscribe to my channel so I can keep you guys up to date with this story. It's probably one of the most underreported stories that everyone needs to know about, and I want to make sure you guys are kept up to date. Thank you guys so much. Please subscribe.
Brought up on because now we're living in a dictatorship where you can't even burn the flag. It is a piece of cloth, everybody. So now, yeah, this is executive order going through will make it a year-long offense to burn a fucking flag. So they came out first and they ran over and they bagged up the remnants of the flag into an evidence bag. I got videos of that earlier. And lots of pictures of that as well. And they took it back inside, and then they came out and they arrested the people who burned it. So I wonder if they're going to get them on that federal charge. Trying really hard to. It hasn't gone through anything yet, but the executive order is probably not going to stand up in the courts. But does that fuck anymore? It doesn't seem like it does. So I wonder what these people are going to be brought up on. We are currently waiting their release right now. So that's the situation on the ground right now. On now August 26th. And as always, chinga la migra.
Again, quick reminder, these videos, we're getting it straight from the protesters themselves. So everything they say, nothing is bad that they're doing here. Everything is great, even if that means burning an American flag. But you do not go to jail for burning the American flag, by the way. That is not what you go to jail for, even under this executive order. It's a little confusing, I will admit that. The reason why you go to jail now, which could be up to a year, is because if you burn the American flag and it's proven that you burnt the American flag with the intention of causing violence or chaos, things like that, that is what the executive order covers. And when you look at Portland and these protests at this specific area, there seems to be a lot of chaos going on whenever these federal agents leave that front gate. There's a lot of clashes going on. We've covered that a lot on my channel. Oh, and by the way, we have some more bad news for these protesters. So you have to understand, the city of Portland is doing whatever they can to try and get rid of this contract that the city has with the Portland Federal Building. Basically moving these ICE agents away and trying to, end this protest, try to resolve everything. Portland has taken the side of the protesters. Here is what one of the city council members has to say about this entire situation. Basically, there's really nothing anyone can do at this point, and the protesters, they don't like this answer.
As people have been asking what City Council has been doing with policies regarding ICE, and so this video is going to cover what a few different offices are doing, as well as some demands that have come in from advocates outside of just revoking the permit for the McAdam building. Just a quick lesson to put this all into perspective for those of you who aren't constitutional law nerds like I am. The Supremacy Clause in Article 6 of our Constitution basically says that whatever the federal government does supersedes what local governments do if there is a conflict in how a law is interpreted or implemented. Basically, that means that the federal government is the supreme law of the land. So we can try to implement things locally, but that doesn't always interrupt what ICE as a federal agency is able to do.
And by the way, these protesters have gone into the city chambers and have told these council members, you guys need to figure this out, otherwise we're going to start protesting you. So these city council members, they really know that these protesters, they don't like to hear stuff like this. But again, at least this council member is being honest and really trying to say in the nicest way, we can't do anything about these federal agents.
Portland has a leading ban on facial recognition technology, one of the strongest in the country. And yet we saw that ICE was able to use facial recognition technology on their property because that's technically federal jurisdiction. They've used that technology to surveil and target protesters who are opposing ICE, which is also why we need to be very cognizant of how and why we are doing certain actions and what the outcome is that we want from that, because the reality is we live in a panopticon and we are constantly being surveilled. All right, so here's what council is currently looking into. Right now, some of our offices are looking into doing a ban on ICE agents being able to mask up and not be identified. This has been a huge issue because people are getting kidnapped off of our streets, and it could be just any random guy in a mask telling you that he's a federal agent when it could just be a kidnapper. So obviously that's a huge issue. There are folks at the congressional level that are trying to get a mask ban passed, but they might not have the votes to do it.
I said this about a month ago when the city was getting very serious about trying to get rid of these federal agents from the Portland Federal Building. The initial plan from Portland was just to, get rid of this contract because the federal agents, they've been breaking some clauses in the contract, even under the Biden administration, by the way. And I said even back then, it almost seems like these council members are selling a lie here, that they're really trying to lead on these Portland protesters, but at the end of the day, and this council member keeps admitting, there are supremacy clauses. So I would not be surprised if in the near future, if nothing gets done here, either the National Guard is going to show up and really make these protesters very mad, or these protesters are going to start turning on these council members if more and more protesters get arrested.
Supremacy clause, we are trying to look into any and all options, but that doesn't mean that we are going to be able to pass something that will actually be able to be implemented. Councillor Samir Kanal is researching policies regarding munitions and tear gas because we know that's something that is heavily impacting the health of our residents in Portland. My office has taken more of the data and surveillance privacy approach because I think that the next frontier of fighting fascism is going to be immense government surveillance. So that includes anything from license plate readers to facial recognition technology. And it would be really helpful if people who are on the ground, who are able to see some of that technology that ICE is using, if you could photograph it and send it to our offices, that's all information that we can use to try to figure out where we need to target.
Every once in a while, when I make my videos, I accidentally stumble upon things just like this. A lawmaker who is asking or requesting protesters to film or really spy on ICE agents, gather intelligence on her behalf, submit what you have, and then they can really evaluate what equipment they're using. As you guys can see, these city council members are not hiding the fact that they are on the side of the protesters, and they really are doing whatever it takes to get rid of these Homeland Security agents. So I don't know if this is legal. I accidentally stumbled upon this. Not a lot of people have seen this video. This was 5 days ago, so yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
So how is the coverage, the press coverage of what's going on down here?
Well, honestly, the press coverage is very minimal. The only coverage that we've really received was in the very beginning, I think after No Kings or right the day of No Kings.
Yeah.
I haven't seen very much media. The only media that I've really seen is either right-wing influencer media, as in Katie Davis Court and her lot, or streamers, because they're the only ones who come out here. Media is not coming out here. It's literally only those two very specific groups. Streamers who risk coming out here, risk getting gas, and wannabe journalists like Katie Davis Court who are paid to come out here and antagonize the protesters. But as far as media, we're not getting it. Our media is being suppressed. We've tried many different ways to break through algorithms via TikTok, and everybody on the ground has TikTok, has Instagram, and are pushing and pushing and pushing
Yeah, so this is 100% true. That protester or an advocate for the protester, she's not lying. There are pretty much no media members who are wanting to show up because everyone is quite literally in fear of their lives nowadays. This is because the Portland police, they're not showing up. And what's rather interesting is the Portland police not showing up also can be a danger and threat for these protesters. If they need help or there's an emergency, they have actually relied on the federal agents to protect them, but then in turn will still protest the federal agents. So we really are relying on these TikTok posts and really digging into some of these live streamers to figure out what's going on here. So this is my disclaimer. If we see less Portland content, this is why. All of the journalists who have been helping me out, all of the journalists who are on the ground, they've all been attacked, they've all been assaulted. Look, their lives are in danger, so it is what it is. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really want to go look into whether or not that city council member is supposed to be saying what she's saying on the internet. I don't think that's legal. Anyway, I'll see you guys all later. God bless, and yeah, I really appreciate all of you.